Good morning to all of you. First of all, I want to introduce myself. Myself Ankit Acharya, working as an assistant professor in Hasmukh Goswami College of Engineering since last 5 years. So today my content is to solve GTU question paper solution of the subject of vector calculus and linear algebra of June 2009. So here is my content: vector calculus and linear algebra of the GTU question paper solution of June 2009. Here is the first question, question 1a. Define rank of a matrix. Find the rank of a matrix of this given matrix A, where A is equal to 3 cross 4 matrix. Here we have the first row is 1 2 4 0, second row is -3 1 5 2, third row is -2 3 9 2, right? So first of all we have to define the rank of a matrix. So what is the rank of a matrix? Just try to understand. First of all, here is the definition: the number of non-zero rows of a matrix in its echelon form or reduced row echelon form, okay, is called the rank of a matrix. So next question arise in your mind that what is the meaning of row echelon form or reduced row echelon form, right? So just try to understand that definition, that what is the meaning of row echelon form. The row echelon form means to satisfy the three conditions in any matrix, in any size matrix. The row echelon form means first condition. The first condition is that the leading entry. Now what is meaning of leading entry? The leading entry means the first non-zero element in any row, right? We are starting from left to right. The first non-zero element in any row, that is our leading entry, or sometimes it's called pivot, okay, sometimes it's called pivot. So the first condition is, if there is any leading entry, below that leading entry all the elements should be 0, right? If there is any leading entry, below that leading entry all the elements should be 0, okay. Below that leading entry all the elements should be 0. Second condition, if there is any 0 row, it should be a bottom of the matrix. If there is any 0 row, it should be a bottom of the matrix, right? Third condition, our leading entry, whenever we are going from above to below, our leading entry is going from left to right, right? Our leading entry is going from left to right. So if these three conditions are satisfied, then we can say that our matrix is in row echelon form matrix. Now to become a reduced row echelon form, we have to add two conditions more, right? More two conditions. The first condition is leading entry must be 1, right? The first condition is leading entry must be 1, and the second condition, if there is any column in which we have leading entry, in that column except the leading entry all the elements should be 0. That means what? Below that leading entry and also above that leading entry all the elements should be 0. So if there are total number of 5 conditions, right? If there are if these all 5 conditions are satisfied, then we can say that our matrix is in row echelon form. So if first 3 conditions are satisfied, then we can say that our matrix is in row echelon form. And another 2 conditions which I explained to you, that if another 2 conditions are satisfied, that means total number of 5 conditions are satisfied, then we can say that our matrix is in reduced row echelon form, okay. So now you can understand that what is the meaning of row echelon form or reduced row echelon form. So using the matrix, first of all we have to convert this matrix into a row echelon form or reduced row echelon form, and then we have to check that how many non-zero rows in that given row echelon form matrix. If there are 2 non-zero rows, then we can say that rank of that matrix is 2, right? So whatever the number of non-zero row in our row echelon form of the given matrix, right, it's called rank of a matrix. So let's see how to convert the given matrix into a row echelon form. Okay, let's see. So here is the definition: the number of non-zero rows of a matrix in its echelon form or reduced row echelon form is called the rank of a matrix. Here is our given matrix. The first row is 1 2 4 0, the second row is -3 1 5 2, the third row is -2 3 9 2, right? So next process, we have to multiply first row, because this is our leading entry, this 1 is our leading entry for the first row. Below that leading entry we want 0, right? That means what? We want 0 here and here, right? So definitely we have to multiply the first row with 3 and add into the second row, and next process we have to multiply first row with 2 and add into the third row, right? So here is a process, you can see we multiply, just write down with this manner. The meaning of this notation is we have to multiply first row, this the first subscript is in this first subscript, in this first row we have to multiply 3 and add into the second row, right? So the meaning of this notation is that we have multiply first row with 3 and add into the second row, right? Similarly multiply first row with 2 and add into the third row. Okay, so here is the process. 1 2, you can see first row is as it is 1 2 4 0, the second row become, you can see 3 plus 3 0, 3 into 2 6, 6 plus 1 7, this is 3 into 4 12, 12 plus 5 that is 17, 0 into 3 that is 0 plus 2 2. So you will get the second row become 0 7 17 2, 0 7 17 2. Okay, and the next process we have to multiply first row with 2 and add into the second row. So you can see 0, this is 2 into 2 4, 4 plus 3 that is 7, 4 into 2 8, 8 plus 9 that is 17, and 0 into 2 plus 2 that is 2. So again you will get 0 7 17 2, right? Okay, so this is our new matrix. Now the second and third row are same, you can see. So now this is our leading entry 7 for the second row, right? This is our leading entry. We have to multiply second row with -1 and add into the third row. So the third row becomes 0, the whole row become 0. The first row is as it is 1 2 4 0, the second row is 0 7 17 2, and the third row become 0 0 0 0 0, right? So we have to multiply second row with -1 and add into the third row. So the matrix is row echelon form, and the number of non-zero row in this matrix is 2, you can see, right? The number of non-zero row in this matrix is 2, hence the rank of the given matrix is 2. Okay, so here is a complete the solution of this question, and this question asked in 3 marks in this question paper. So next question, question 1b. Let R3 have the Euclidean inner product. Use Gram-Schmidt process to transform the basis u1, u2, u3 into an orthonormal basis where u1 is equal to 1 1 1, u2 is equal to -1 1 0, and u3 is equal to 1 2 1. Okay, so here is the solution. Let v1 is equal to u1 is equal to 1 1 1, inner product u2 with v1, that is equal to -1 1 0 into 1 1 1, that is equal to -1 plus 1 plus 0. Okay, now see, we have to convert these three are just a basis vector, but they are not orthonormal basis. So that's why we have to convert this 3 vectors into an orthonormal basis. Now to any basis convert into a orthogonal basis, first of all, that's why we have to use Gram-Schmidt process, right? The orthogonal means what? The inner product of any two vector, the inner product of any basis vector, that is equal to 0, right? And orthonormal means what? The inner product of any two basis vector is also 0, but the norm of the vector, the norm of each vector is equal to 1. So we have to convert this normal basis vector, this three basis vectors, into an orthonormal basis. So first of all, we have to convert this three basis vector into orthogonal basis, right, using this Gram-Schmidt process. And there are some formulas. You can see V1, take V1 is equal to U1, right? Now we want to find V2. Now how to find V2? Here is a formula. You can see this is our formula for V2. V2 is equal to U2 minus inner product U2 V1 upon norm V1 square into V1, right? And this is the formula for to find V3. V3 is equal to U3 minus inner product U3 V1 upon norm V1 square into V1 minus inner product U3 V2 upon norm V2 square into V2. Okay, so these three are basis vector V1, V2 and V3. Okay, orthogonal basis vector. Here we have only simple basis vectors, but we have to convert into an orthogonal basis vector, and for that we have to apply this formula, right? This is a Gram-Schmidt process. So you can see, to find V2, what we have to need? Inner product U2 V1 and norm V1 square. U2 and V1 we already have, right? So that's why we find here, first of all, inner product U2 V1 and norm V1 square. So this is inner product U2 V1. Now what is U2? This is minus 1 1 0. V1 means 1 1 1. So just and we have to use Euclidean inner product. So that means what? We have to just use dot product. So minus 1 into 1 minus 1 plus 1 into 1 1 plus 0 plus into 1, that is 0. So you will get 0. And norm V1 square, that means if V1 is equal to x1 x2 x3, norm V1 square, that is x1 square plus x2 square plus x3 square. So norm V1 square, using that process, norm V1 square is equal to 1 square plus 1 square plus 1 square, that is 1 plus 1 plus 1, that is equal to 3. Okay, so this is norm V1 square. V2, now put the values of inner product U2 V1 and norm V1 square in this formula. V2 is equal to U2 minus inner product U2 V1 upon norm V1 square into V1, that is equal to minus 1 1 0 minus 0 upon 3, right? Because inner product U2 V1, that is 0 and norm V1 square is 3. So 0 upon 3 into 1 1 1, that is equal to minus 1 1 0. Now inner product U3 V1. What is inner product U3 V1? That is equal to 1 2 1. Inner product U3. What is U3? U3 is 1 2 1 and V1 is 1 1 1. Okay, V1 is 1 1 1. So 1 2 1 into 1 1 1, that is equal to 1 plus 2 plus 1, that is equal to 4. Inner product U3 V2, that is equal to 1 2 1 minus 1 1 0. Inner product U3 V2, right? What is U3? 1 2 1 and what is V2? V2 is minus 1 1 0. So dot product of 1 2 1 into and minus 1 1 0, that is equal to 1 into minus 1 plus 2 into 1 2 plus 1 into 0 0. So that is equal to 1, right? And norm V2 square, we also need norm V2 square to find V3. So norm V2 square is equal to, look at V2. V2 is minus 1 1 0. So norm V2 square is minus 1 square, that is 1, plus 1 square, that is 1, plus 0, that is equal to 2. So put all these values in this formula to find V3. V3 is equal to U3 minus inner product U3 V1 upon norm V1 square into V1 minus inner product U3 V2 upon norm V2 square into V2. Okay, so U3 is equal to 1 2 1 minus U3 V1, inner product U3 V1 is 4 by 3 right? Put the value 4. Norm v1 square is norm v1 square we already find before this. Norm v1 square is 3, so that's why 4 by 3. v1 is 111, okay, minus inner product u3 v2, that is 1, norm v2 square, that is 2, minus 1 1 0, okay. So this equal to 1 to 1 minus 4 by 3 4 by 3 4 by 3 minus plus 1 by 2 minus 1 by 2 0. So here is just a simplification, right? And now we have to add these three vectors, add and subtraction these three vectors. So the first coordinate is 1 minus 4 by 3 plus 1 by 2, so that is 1 by 6. 2 minus 4 by 3 minus 1 by 2, that is also 1 by 6, and 1 minus 4 by 3 minus 0 plus 0, that is minus 1 by 3. So norm v1 is equal to under root 3, right? Norm v1, you can see norm v1 is equal to under root 3, norm v2 is equal to under root 2, okay. And now this v1 v2 v3, why we find norm v1 norm v2 and norm v3? We already find norm v1 and norm v2, right? Norm v1 square is what? You can see norm v1 square is 3, right? So norm v1 is equal to under root 3, norm v2 square is equal to 2, norm v2 is equal to under root 2, and norm v3 is equal to, now v3 is equal to 1 by 6 minus 1 by 3. So norm v3 is equal to under root 1 by 36 plus 1 by 36 plus 1 by 9, that is equal to 1 upon under root 6, okay. So the required orthonormal basis is given by, so the required orthonormal basis is given by v1 upon norm v1, that is what is v1? 111 upon norm v1, okay. Norm v1 is root 3, so 1 by root 3 1 by root 3 1 by root 3, v2 upon norm v2. Now what is v2? Minus 110, and norm v2 is under root 2, so you will get minus 1 by root 2 1 by root 2 0, and v3 upon norm v3, that is 1 by root 6 1 by root 6 and minus 2 by root 6. So these three vectors are ortho